The 1980s and 90s were the golden age of anime, when the Japanese animation industry was completely open to the concept of science fiction, and this provided us with space operas, interstellar wars, and giant galaxies capable of competing with even the most renowned Western franchises. In tales that were equal parts philosophical, emotional, and adventurous, entire civilizations clashed among the cosmos, and mecha ships tore across starfields. In this video, we're going to explore 11 anime classics that defined the retro space opera genre. Whether universally acclaimed or quietly influential, these series have etched their mark on the legacy of the galactic epics and forever changed the way we imagine voyages among the stars. Before we begin, we have a small request for our viewers. Please subscribe to the channel, like and comment on our videos, and press that bell icon to be notified whenever we upload new content. Now, without further ado, let's blast off into the stars. Space Battleship Yamato, Star Blazers, 1974 to 75. Jumping right in, we have Yoshinobu Nishizaki's Space Battleship Yamato, which is also known as Star Blazers. The very first season of Star Blazers premiered on Japanese TV in 1974, and it instantly set the tone for space epics to come. This space opera reimagines the tragic World War II battleship Yamato, one of the largest and most heavily armed battleships ever built, not as a relic, but as humanity's last hope for survival. Set in the year 2199, the story finds Earth on the verge of extinction as the Gamillas, an alien force, bombards the planet with radioactive weapons, turning its surface into a toxic graveyard. What's left of humanity has moved underground. However, the radiation is still creeping in. Scientists estimate that humanity has only 1 year left to live. While the United Nations Cosmo Fleet, or UNCF, is being hopelessly overwhelmed by the Gamillian forces, a last ray of hope arrives in the form of a message pod from an unknown crashed spacecraft retrieved from Mars. Inside the capsule are schematics for a warp drive engine and a transmission from Queen Starsha, who belongs to planet Iskandar. She offers humanity a lifeline, a device that can purify the Earth and remove the deadly radiation from its surface called the Cosmo Cleaner D. In secret, Earth rebuilds the legendary warship Yamato into a humongous starship from its ruins. Using the blueprints provided by Starsha, they equip it with a space warp system called Wave Motion Engine and, at its bow, the formidable Wave Motion Gun, a highly advanced superweapon. With only 1 year left to save the planet, a team of 114, led by Captain Okita, sets out on a desperate mission to reach Iskandar and obtain the Cosmo Cleaner. However, they soon uncover the shocking truth about their blue-skinned nemesis. The world of Gamillas is on the brink of ruin, and their leader, Lord Dessler, plans to render Earth radioactive until it's fit for colonization in exchange for the lives of humanity. Over the course of 26 episodes, the first season exposes us to not only a tale of interstellar war, but also one of human growth and sacrifice. Intriguingly, the show was originally meant to air for 39 episodes. However, due to high production expenses and ratings not meeting expectations, it was unfortunately cut short. Super Dimension Fortress Macross, 1982 to 83. The next entry on our list is the 1982 anime series Super Dimension Fortress Macross. It's a 36-episode space opera experience that fundamentally transformed the mecha genre for years to come. Produced by Studio Nue and guided by visionary designer Shoji Kawamori, the series takes us to a post-alien contact world where humanity must adapt or perish. The story begins in 1999, when a massive alien spacecraft crashes on South Ataria Island. Over the next decade, the military organization UN Spacey reverse engineers the alien technology and rebuilds the craft, naming it the SDF-1 Macross. At its launch ceremony in 2009, a young civilian pilot, Hikaru Ichijio, visits at the request of ace pilot Roy Fokker, only to be swept into humanity's first intergalactic war. The ship's automatic defense systems accidentally fire on the Zentradi, a race of giant humanoid warriors, sparking a conflict between the two races. What makes Macross extraordinary is its fusion of three core elements: transforming mecha called variable fighters that can shift between fighter, jet, hybrid, and humanoid modes, tense space warfare, and, most uniquely, the power of music and culture as weapons of war. The character Lin Minmei, one of anime's earliest virtual idols, becomes central to the theme as her songs serve as humanity's unlikely trump card against the culturally sterile Zentradi. The Zentradi suspect that humans might be their creators, the mysterious proto-culture, leading to bizarre tactics such as shrinking their soldiers to human size to study Earth culture. This cultural contamination turns out to be both humanity's lifeline and the spark that ignites the final confrontation. Fearing the spread of human influence, Supreme Commander Bob Dole-Zer commands the annihilation of Earth itself. Originally planned as a 27-episode series, it turned out to be so successful that it was extended to 36 episodes, allowing the story to continue with a 2 years later arc exploring post-war reconstruction. Although Macross had to forego the intended finale because of budget fluctuations, it nevertheless was able to provide the groundwork for an intermedia franchise that has lasted until now, demonstrating that the most powerful weapon isn't always a giant robot, but rather a song that can touch hearts across the galaxy. Mobile Suit Gundam, 1979 original. New realism in the mecha genre emerged in the sci-fi series Mobile Suit Gundam, released in 1979, which would become notable for its portrayal of the world of giant robots in anime. Under the direction of Yoshiyuki Tomino and production by Hajime Yatate, the story is set in the year 0079 of the Universal Century at the onset of a war between two groups, the Principality of Zeon and the Earth Federation. To achieve independence, Zeon strikes the Earth Federation, and it has to counter it through mass-produced space combat ships known as mobile suits. The pilot is based on the adventures of a 15-year-old civilian, Amuro Rei, who finds himself in the crossfire between the Earth Federation and the Principality of Zeon on Side 7 Colony after being an innocent bystander when Zeon troops invade, and Amuro becomes the pilot of an experimental RX-78-2 Gundam. Introduced to the fold, Amuro is pushed into the white base and, as a result, becomes the unlikely hero as he battles an unimaginable number of enemies. The unusual approach to real robots was what made Gundam stand out. The mobile suits were portrayed as fairly realistic military equipment, with real-life challenges facing the suits in terms of supply, energy limitations, and the lack of a human pilot having a pelvis. The show revealed to the audience the harsh truths of war, casualties, ruined colonies, and moral grayness. Personal interests were introduced to the battle by rivalries such as Amuro and Zeon ace Char Aznable, giving the fights added tragedy and intensity. Although it failed in the ratings and was cancelled, Gundam has had an astonishing rebound, with reruns being filmed in a series of collections and linking its success to model kits to emerge as one of the biggest franchises in Japan. Legend of the Galactic Heroes, 1988 to 97. Regarded as one of the best works of a space opera anime, Legend of the Galactic Heroes spanned from 1988 to 1997. Based on Yoshiki Tanaka's epic novels, the series is set in the background of an enormous interstellar war between the dictatorial Galactic Empire and the Democratic Free Planets Alliance. The story is about two historical tacticians, Reinhard von Lohengram, the new star of the Empire, whose ambition is comparable to his intelligence, and Yang Wen Li, the reluctant hero and the brilliant tactician on the Alliance side. Their rivalry shapes the future of nations and determines the destinies of millions. The myth of the Galactic Heroes, as opposed to most animes, lays a vehement stress on political matters, enormous military logistics, and intellectual discussions on regulations, war, and righteousness. It's multidimensional with a massive cast, and there are both good and notoriously evil characters, and they generally constitute contraventions of classical concepts of villain and hero. The general pace of the show was made systematic, consequently enabling the development of events with impact and seriousness. With long-view prescient insight, successful themes, and a nuanced approach rather than spectacle, Legend of the Galactic Heroes exemplified intelligent, personality-based anime, offering one of Japan's most persuasive stylistic trends in the anime genre. Space Adventure Cobra, 1982. Directed by Osamu Dezaki, Space Adventure Cobra is a retro-futuristic space opera based on Buichi Terasawa's original manga, Cobra. The feature film depicting the manga's first story arc was released in Japan in July 1982. The story is set in a futuristic spacefaring universe where the notorious space pirate Cobra, presumed dead, returns after years of exile with a new identity. However, this time he has a powerful weapon implanted in his left arm called the Psycho Gun. Drawn back into conflict, he assists bounty hunter Jane Royale, who is trying to save her captive sisters from the clutches of the merciless pirate guild. Together, they face Crystal Bowie, a cold-blooded cyborg assassin serving the space pirate guild and the large forces of the guild throughout the cosmos. This tale of high-stakes adventure, romance, tragedy, and an unremitting quest for liberty is a mixture of battling enemies and the renewal of the outlaw identity in Cobra. The voice work and music made the show seem cinematic, which played a crucial role in the early days of fortifying anime dubbing. Space Adventure Cobra has earned a reputation for its daring combination of genres, shocking settings, and a scoundrel who's both charming and adventurous. The show is considered a cult classic because it influenced both the anime format and the global dubbing procedure. Galaxy Express 39, 1978 to 81. A fantastic TV anime series that spanned from 1978 to 81 combines both cosmic adventure and ominous allegory. Courtesy of legendary mangaka Leiji Matsumoto, the viewer gets to see a young man named Tetsuro Hoshino riding the mysterious Galaxy Express 39 alongside the enigmatic Maytel. Their journey to space doesn't seem like a joyride, since each of their destinations presents dystopian future communities struggling with aspects of death, identity, and technology. Tetsuro dreams of getting a mechanical body that can aid him in escaping a life of poverty and hardship. Along the way, he and Maytel encounter colorful individuals and new worlds that are violent and fearful of immortality. The train is also a metaphor of the journey through life, which is often surprising by itself with its temporary associations and breakups. The series immerses the viewer in a realm where the cost of development is never absolute, and the audience is left speculating on the nature of the human soul. The show's distinctive art style, philosophical undertones, and emotional storytelling defined it as one of the best space operas of the age. To this day, Galaxy Express 39 remains a film remembered for its iconic sequences, which skillfully combine action, melancholy, and optimism. Its legacy continues as an anime that attempts to provoke profound questions set against a breathtaking sci-fi backdrop. Cowboy Bebop, 1998. Cowboy Bebop may be seen as violating the norms of anime, as it's more like a fusion of sci-fi, neo-noir, and Western influences. The series takes place in the year 2071, and the story follows the work of the motley crew of the spaceship Bebop in locating fugitives to earn profits in a highly crime-ridden solar system characterized by anarchy. The crew, led by the easygoing martial artist Spike Spiegel, is augmented by a former cop, Jet Black, an amnesiac femme fatale, Faye Valentine, a quirky hacker, Ed, and a genius dog, Ein. The episodes, or so-called sessions, offer one short story, yet gradually unfold the backstories of each character. Jet's specialty, bell peppers and beef, often lacks beef, reflecting his constant financial struggles. The mood of the show is captured by decaying industrial urban spaces, spaceports, and nightclubs filled with jazzy music, in sharp contrast to the non-diegetic music supplied by legendary composer Yoko Kanno. This show revels in loneliness, redemption, and existentialism that rubs a chord when the main cast aggressively confronts their past, and the show reaches a sad climax when it explores Spike's relationship with Julia and the Syndicate. Cowboy Bebop is uniquely cinematic. It's full of dramatic fight choreography, nearly silent longing, philosophical reflection, and iconic imagery. Be it the green terrorists crying about the Ganymede sea rats or the battling duels along uneasy passages, each scene is filled with style and personality. It had a significant impact not just on anime, but directors worldwide, particularly those researching animation, storytelling, and of course, music. Despite being over 2 decades old, Cowboy Bebop remains a model of genre fusion, combining emotional storytelling with a sense of coolness in a pop culture world. Outlaw Star, 1998. Directed by Mitsuru Hongo, the 1998 sci-fi comedy movie Outlaw Star is all about space opera action, bizarre comedy, and mad fantasy. It's the tale of Gene Starwind and his young companion, Jim Hawking, who dream of escaping their monotonous life as jack-of-all-trades in some distant solar system. Their fate takes a turn when they cross paths with the mysterious outlaw, Hilda, who then engages them in a battle regarding the legendary starship, namely the Outlaw Star. With its bioengineered navigator, Melfina, and a ragtag crew including the bloodthirsty Aisha Clan and the ruthless Twilight Suzuka, the team sets out on a hunt for the mythical Galactic ley line, a place rumored to hold ultimate treasure and the secrets of the universe. Outlaw Star balances high-octane chases and dogfights with grappler ships, with mystical Tau magic, witty gadgetry, and banter. In every episode, the crew finds themselves facing new dangers and ethical dilemmas, be it fighting against bounty hunters and space pirates or discovering the truth about the production-era societies. The show explores themes of self-discovery, loyalty, and chasing big dreams, utilizing its roster of colorful characters to examine the possibilities and risks of freedom in space. Outlaw Star is considered a unique film due to its animation, the music of life with which it's performed, and its irreverent storytelling, making it one of the most unforgettable films of all time and cementing Gene and his crew as iconic cult figures in the anime world. Irresponsible Captain Tylor, 1993. The Irresponsible Captain Tylor is a Japanese anime sitcom that presented unusual humor and an unorthodox hero. Based on Hitoshi Yoshioka's light novel, The Most Irresponsible Man in Space, this one aired in the year 1993. It narrates the story of a seemingly simple and careless young man by the name of Justy Ueki Tylor, who finds himself in the Space Force, stumbling and incapable of doing anything, and through a turn of events that plays out in a highly unlikely fashion, Justy actually becomes the captain of the battleship Soyokaze. Despite Tylor's lack of discipline and experience, his carefree attitude and uncanny luck repeatedly save his crew from disaster, confounding both his allies and adversaries. Surrounded by a mismatched crew ranging from the strict Yuriko Star and rigid Makoto Yamamoto to quirky twins Emi and Yumi Hanner, Tylor's leadership style is equal parts baffling and endearing. The series explores whether Tylor is a hidden genius or simply a fool blessed by fate, creating both comedy and genuine suspense through his unpredictable decision-making. Through its satire of military tradition and heroic stereotypes, the irresponsible Captain Tylor encourages the audience to rethink notions of order, chaos, and fate in life and death situations. This combination of parody, friendship, and surprise plot twists has earned this show a cult following known for subverting space adventure with heart and humor. Crest of the Stars, 1999. Released in 1999, Crest of the Stars is an epic sci-fi anime based on the novels by Hiroyuki Morioka. The story follows Jinto Lin, the son of a planetary ruler whose home is annexed by the Ab Empire, a genetically advanced aristocracy. After losing his world, Jinto is taken in by the Ab and integrated into their society, where he becomes the aide to Lafiel, a young and proud Ab princess. As war erupts between the Ab Empire and the united mankind, Jinto and Lafiel must navigate their way in a corrupt universe where devotion is a lie and prejudice is embedded. Their journey across conflicted star systems puts them right into the middle of battles, insubordination, and the complexities of imperial rule. Throughout their voyage, the evolving friendship and trust between Jinto and Lafiel serve as an emotional anchor, exploring questions of belonging, identity, and humanity's place in a divided universe. Crest of the Stars stands out through the intensive world-building and a profoundly detailed superimposition of cultural practices and galactic politics. Rather than an action spectacle, the anime places more emphasis on cerebration and dialogue. Its success was mostly due to its subsequent installments, and it became known as a series that was both clever and emotive, yet also a fantastic space opera. Martian Successor Nadesico, 1996 to 97. Tatsuo Sato's Martian Successor Nadesico is the perfect example of action, comedy, and genre parody. Airing from 1996 to 97, it tells the story of Akito Tenkawa, a mecha pilot who dreams of becoming a chef. However, fortune doesn't favor him as he gets swept up in humanity's struggle against the alien race known as the Jovian Lizards. Akito finds himself aboard the high-tech battleship D-001 Nadesico, led by the outgoing Yorika Misumaru and staffed by a cast of quirky and bizarre characters thanks to the tactical brilliance of Rory Hoshino and a crew of hot-tempered Aestivalis pilots. Nadesico differentiates itself by cheekily parodying mecha anime cliches and blending dramatic space battles with slapstick humor, as well as references from its own pop culture universe. Most notably, the beloved vintage anime Gekiganger 3. It manages to juggle love triangles, office drama, and zany plot twists while staying sweet and humorous. Several notable episodes effortlessly swerve from knockabout comedy to deadly serious confrontations, examining themes like loss, loyalty, and the horrors of war. Featuring colorful animation, great catchphrases, and a tongue-in-cheek attitude towards storytelling, Martian Successor Nadesico became a cult hit, lauded for its ability to send up and pay homage to the trappings of sci-fi anime. Its epic scope, colorful personalities, and nimble balance of satire and sentiment mark it as an outlier in the era's cartoon canon. Marvelous Verdict! And with that, our cosmic tour through the starry canon of retro anime comes to an end. These 11 classics indeed influenced the recitation of space epics by being rooted in desperate journeys and mad dashes, as well as philosophical reflections on the control of destiny and humanity. They still burn a path through the universe of imagination, whether you're a die-hard fan or are merely getting curious about what was so special about the 80s and 90s. Let us know your favorites in the comments down below, leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the best that anime has to offer. Thanks for joining us on this adventure, but until next time, stay marvelous.